It's 3 minutes down the hour, 11 o'clock, and it's time for the program, The Talk. Yes, Fauziyya Tukur is here in the studio, and she's ready to go. But before then, I need to let you know that Deep Thinking will be coming your way by 2 o'clock with Malam Nuhu Tahir. Deep Thinking at 2 o'clock. So keep it a date at that time. Coming up next, The Talk.
Good morning. If you're just joining us, the program is The Talk, and you're listening to Liberty 91.7 FM. I am Fauziyya Kabir Tukur. On the program today, we would be discussing gender stereotyping and the girl-child education. And the role of gender in the African society is very important in this subject. The African society is a patriarchal one, and we have certain perceptions about the girl child. She is seen as weak, always a dependent, and never independent. There are certain tasks that are expected to be fulfilled by a girl and only a girl. And today, that is what we'll be looking at in relation to Nigeria and the girl child education. So don't go anywhere. The talk continues. Well, the program is The Talk, and I am Fauziyya Kabir Tukur. Before we went on that break, I told you that our program for today would focus on gender stereotyping and the girl-child education. And we have a special guest today, Aisha Shehu Kaikai, who will be discussing this subject with us on the program.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. So how are you?
Good. Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Okay, I'm good. Thank you for coming on the program.
Sure, you're welcome. Happy to be here.
It's okay. Aisha is an entrepreneur. She's a baker and a chef. She's an IT specialist. She's a digital creative artist and also a filmmaker. She is also a philanthropist and a humanitarian. She does so much all at once. Right, Aisha?
Yeah.
Good. So, Aisha, you heard our topic for today, gender stereotyping and the girl-child education. And we know how the African society is and how it treats issues like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, so... Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so for the benefit of our listeners, I just want to quickly explain what it means, what gender stereotyping means. So gender stereotyping is basically overgeneralization of characteristics or attributes of a certain group based on their gender. For example, you say a woman is only supposed to be a chef, or she's only supposed to work in the hospitality industry, or she's only supposed to be a teacher because she's a woman. Because here in the African society, we see woman as weak, and she's always supposed to be a dependent. A woman is not seen as someone who can be independent on her own. So basically, gender stereotyping is that a certain group is judged based on certain beliefs on that group. So in relation to that, Aisha, I would want to ask you, what do you think is the relationship between gender stereotyping and girl-child education in relation to Nigeria?
Gender stereotyping and girl-child education is quite similar. With gender stereotyping is in the work, mostly in the work environment. So ladies, women, and young entrepreneurs and workers are being...
Hello, we can hear you, Aisha.
Yeah, are being denied certain rights during the work. So in their workplaces, from tax, they're just allowed for men, and women can do. There's this saying, what a man can do and a woman can do better. So in the workplace, women are not allowed to do certain things. Their jobs are mainly tied into secretary and nursing. They're more into passive and submissive forms and not the active, like their opinions don't matter. The society feels men are better, like they should be able to do all. Women can't do certain things. And with girl education, it denies the privilege for a young girl, a female, to do certain, to get educated. And education is really important in our society because there are a lot of vulnerable young girls that are in a lot of trouble that don't know how to help themselves.
Absolutely. So,
hello?
Yes, we can hear you, Aisha. You've been to so many countries. You've lived in developed countries, and I believe you've worked there. And there is so much difference between the developed countries and developing countries like Nigeria. And they've been able to eliminate that line of gender stereotyping of women. You see, in developed countries, they have satellite scientists, they have medical examiners, nuclear engineers, who are all women. But then when you come back, in fact, the British Prime Minister today is a woman, but you come down to Nigeria now and you see women being deprived of certain jobs and responsibilities because they are believed not to be able to do those things well, simply because they are women. How do you think countries like Nigeria can achieve, the debunking of that myth?
First of all, one of the main things that should get it started is through empowerment. We lack empowerment. That's one big thing in our society. if a woman wants to do something, she needs the support. People show, because most of the things people don't understand, they just assume a woman's life has to be at home, like in the kitchen cooking. So women can do a lot more than that. Not just academically, like being a medical examiner or an engineer or an astronaut, but also women can do other vocational stuff like being into the entrepreneurship. She can do like learn some crafts, sewing, catering. There are a lot of different things women can do, even to teach women like hygiene and all these things. So education is really important for the female. And there's this saying that educating a child, a boy, is just educating the boy, but educating a woman is like educating a whole nation, not just her as an individual self, but a family and the nation as whole.
Well, in Nigeria, we have the Universal Basic Education Act and the Child's Right Act. All of these aim to ensure that all children get equal access to education, but we still see a lot of girl-child dropouts. They get to a certain level in school and they have to drop out simply because the parent feel it's more important to educate the male child. Her sibling who is a male is given the opportunity to proceed and continue schooling, but she's asked to, you're a woman, you have to get married, and a man will take care of you. We still have that happening. Do you think our attitude, plays a role in our stereotypical beliefs against the female gender?
Hello, sorry, you went off 1 second.
Okay. I would repeat what I said. I said in Nigeria we have the Universal Basic Education Act and the Child's Right Act, and they all aimed to ensure that all children get equal. But then we still see the girl child dropping out of school because probably the parents cannot continue to, support her and her male sibling. So the girl is asked to drop out simply because she's a woman, and she's told, well, you're going to get married and your husband is going to take care of you. You're going to be taken care of by a man. But then her male sibling goes on to finish school and gets opportunities, and simply because she's a woman, she didn't get to finish school and get those opportunities. So I'm asking, do you think our attitude still plays a role in our stereotypical beliefs against the female gender?
Sorry, the question? I heard the first part of the question.
Okay, do you think our attitude plays a role in our stereotypical beliefs against the female gender?
Yeah, the thing is, that I feel that gender shouldn't be, no one should be denied the privilege of having education, because education, regardless your female or a male, it is education is a fundamental human right that should be available for all individuals, irrespective of age, sex, or ethnicity, or any kind of division, because it is an enlightening experience. So to educate means to train the mind and characteristics of an individual. So I feel when a girl is being denied that, she's allowed to just drop out and just stay at home and do that. Education doesn't mean you have to be working. It builds your mind, so it helps you know what is right and wrong. Hello?
Yes.
So I feel the Nigerian society, we need to understand that education is central to development and improvement of individuals, which will ultimately translate to their well-being and also the well-being of the nation, which it shouldn't be just male, because Nigeria has a gender. And then having more than half of that not educated or not having or being removed from being denied certain rights. So I feel that needs to be adhered.
I'm sure as a girl child in Nigeria, you must have faced your own fair share of challenges, culturally. Would you want to share those experiences with us?
Hello?
Hello? Hello, Aisha, are you there?
Yeah.
So what are the challenges you faced as far as culture is concerned in achieving what you have today? Obviously, you have achieved so much. Hello? Okay, so we lost Aisha, but we'll try to reach her again. It's a long distance call, so that's why we're having hitches, but we'll try to call her. We'll try to call her again. And today we're discussing gender stereotype and the girl-child education in Nigeria. And it's a very important topic that needs to be really looked into. The girl child is still deprived of so much today in Nigeria due to social and cultural beliefs. Aisha is back. Hello, Aisha.
Yes, I'm back here.
Okay, good. So before that, I was asking the challenges you faced, as far as culture is concerned in achieving what you have today, because of course you have achieved so much.
Some of the challenges that I've faced, like for me being a female, I get a lot from people saying, "Oh, what I'm doing is a man's job. I'm not supposed to hustle." But I'm not just doing it I'm doing it for myself. I like what I do, and I feel people should be allowed to follow their passion, their dream, regardless of what it is. And then if you have, because I have with my education background, a lot of people ask me what I'm like. My qualifications are too much. It's going to intimidate a man, stuff like that. And
yes,
there is nothing wrong in seeking knowledge. So our society needs need to learn more and understand the basic fundamentals about education, and it's not take out all the mindset about all this girls can't do certain things, only men. But what if the girl is good at engineering, for instance? Maybe she's not good at nursing, but engineering or some high fields that are just meant for men. For example, in the medical field, some women are more comfortable to see a female doctor than a male girl, but women are denied some of those privileges, even if they want to study the medical field, for instance. So we need to change that in our society.
Yes, one thing you said really caught my attention, that people tell you you're not supposed to hustle, and that it's only a man that's meant to hustle because you're a woman, you shouldn't struggle. And I feel that is the plight of so many other Nigerian, or to a greater extent African girl child, because we're caught up in this struggle to stand out, but then we have limitations of that patriarchal system bringing us down, because obviously it's a man world and we're not expected to do certain things, and when we show we have certain strengths, we are pushed down and shown that, as a girl child, you shouldn't do that. You're not supposed to do that. And I feel like it affects us morally. It affects our self-esteem. We grow up with this belief that we're not capable of doing certain things because of those things we are made to believe. Hello, sir?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you with us?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yes, I am.
Okay. So would you what do you think eliminating this gender stereotype what would it do? Would it go a far way? How would it affect the socio-economic development in Nigeria if we try to push these expectations and limitations aside and we involve the girl child equally the way we involve the male child? To what extent do you think it will lead to economic development in Nigeria? Hello?
Well, eliminating the gender stereotype is going to bring a lot of development to the nation, because adding a female, having an educated, as I said earlier, having an educated woman is like educating the whole nation. So once this gender stereotyping is being eradicated, so there'll be more increase in literacy, because the woman, she's always with the children, with her family, so she'll make sure her children are all there. Since the dad not always around, they're busy working, so most of the time the women are the ones closer to the children. And it will also reduce the human trafficking, because women are most vulnerable to the trafficking, especially the undereducated and the poor. So if a woman is educated, she knows what is right, and she will learn how to avoid all these things.
Okay, Aisha, I would want you to hold that. I would want you to hold that thought. We have to go on a break now. When we come back, we'll continue that discussion.
All right.
Okay. So we'll take a short break, and when we come back, the talk continues. Don't go anywhere.
Liberty Radio 91.7 FM Kaduna.
When times get tough, smart women get cooking. Getting more goodness out of their family's favorite meals. That means more delicious and more wholesome dishes for less. So get more goodness with Maggie, as Maggie gives you 7 extra cubes when you buy a pack for the same price. Also, text goodness to 55331 to get cooking tips and recipes to make your meals more delicious, wholesome, and affordable for today. So clang the pans and shine the spoons, and ladies, let's get cooking with Maggie. Maggie, every woman is a star.
30 days now be 1 month. 75 days now be 2 months. Which calculation be that? Now go get Star Times 2 weeks calculation be that. On top 2 months subscription on any of our bouquet. Star Times go suffer you 2 weeks free entertainment. You know me now. 2 weeks on top 2 months. I dey go subscribe. Nah. Hey, now so enjoy FIFA Confederation Cup for ST World Football. Captivating Indian movies for ST Bollywood telenovela. That one better the program remain for ST Novella. Get 2 weeks extra on top your 2 months subscription from 15th May till July 31st. Make you go recharge 2 months and get 2 weeks free. Star Times, enjoy digital life.
Kai ai tun da na shiga sahun Airtel Big Barkatai wanda ke bani naira 600 idan na saka katin naira 100 to ai komai nawa ya zama 6
ga wannan ba take ta haifi aya 6 yanzu nan.
Wayyo! Ka mai da katin kiran ka sau 6, wato idan ka danna star 555 star pin hash Airtel Big Barkatai sai baka 600 akan katin naira 100 ko naira 1200 akan katin 200 dan kira da shiga yanar gizo, kuma za a mora har tsawon kwana 30 ga duk masu amfani da layin Airtel ne fa.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
Tirka shi, kalli mama fa bidiyo 150, hotuna guda 20.
Ba kai ka saya wa maman layin Airtel ba? To sannun ka fa, ai gobe ne ƙarshen wata. Wato Smart Connect za ta maida wa mama garaɓasan data na duk caji da ta yi na wata ɗaya cur kenan.
Kai idan cibiyar sadarwa bata baka garaɓasar datar yanar gizo na duk cajin da kai har zuwa ƙarshen wata ba, sai ka siyo layin Airtel, saboda wannan shine Ovajara back to sender. Smart Connect, babu tabbataccen tsari fiye da wannan.
Airtel, the smartphone network. Liberty Radio 1.7 FM Kaduna.
Okay, welcome back. If you're just joining us, the program is The Talk on Liberty. About that. Aisha, you were saying something before we went on the break.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We were talking about some of this, the importance of female education, how it could be fixed. So I was talking about the human trafficking.
Yes.
So if a woman is is undereducated and poor, she's more vulnerable to trafficking, which is one thing the United Nations is working on as well. And it shows the importance of girl-child education. So I feel this is one vital point that needs to be adhered in the nation. And another thing is the political representation. As you mentioned earlier, the British Prime Minister is a woman. So Nigeria, we need political representation of women because women are highly underrepresented here and are restricted from political involvement. So programs could be started to empower those kind of issues like women participating in leadership that suggests that civic education and training and all around showing empowerment and ease, and that will ease the gap of all this gender stereotyping and also the girl-child education.
Okay. Actually,
and another thing is,
go ahead.
Yeah, and another thing is there's a high rate of infant mortality in the nation, and I feel this is one vital issue, especially in northern Nigeria. There a lot of people don't know about the person, their personal self as a woman. So I think education needs to be like a program needs to be started educating females and young girls and women about the thriving of babies, safe sex, and how to take care of them. So, because if a woman is educated, she'll know, let's say if she's pregnant or she has a little infant, she'll know how to take care. She'll know this child needs medical attention, needs to have all these immunizations and whatnot. But if she's not educated, how is she going to help her child?
That's so true.
And also, one last thing I can say about that, it will also, education also empowers a woman's wallet, which boosts the earnings and capability, which helps the nation's GDP as whole. And which will hopefully end the poverty in the nation as well.
Very true. That's so true, because poverty too is in the center of all of this, and
yeah,
in every developing country
when women are provided with equal rights and access to education, they can participate in business and economic activity, which will increase the earning power and combat against the current and future poverty through feeding, clothing, and providing for the entire family.
So Aisha, we've seen this sudden outburst of feminists. There's so much talk about feminism, the fight for women's rights, equal rights, and all of that. But we still see that stereotyping that is attached to the female gender. The girl child grows up in our society still feeling, inferior to the male gender in relation to not rights, but in relation to opportunities. She still doesn't get as much opportunities as the males get in the society. So would you would you ascribe this to cultural or religious beliefs?
I feel it's mainly cultural.
Okay.
Because in most religions, for instance, Islam, the first verse that was revealed says we seek knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
So mostly it's culture and the tradition of the whole African nation, not just Nigeria, but it's a whole thing that it's culture.
What would you say is the role of the media in all of this? You're in the media industry, so what would you say the role of the media plays, in gender stereotyping the woman?
Well, because women are not allowed to come out and show what they do and what they want, so media doesn't know. Being in the media, you get as a woman, you get all this oh, you're not supposed to be out in public, you're not supposed to say that, but sometimes truth has to be told. For instance, if women go in, there are a lot of things happening that media doesn't cover, and being a woman and being someone that a soft person cares about that is mostly with the children and society, and most housework and everything is mainly targeted to women. So if the media could cover that and show actually what's happening, and not just women being off the radar, just being off. So I think we need to have a lot of women there, so they could show they could share more stories about what they do, because now Nigeria, a lot of young ones are trying to going into entrepreneurship, and which we need more support and empowerment because there are outstanding women, for example, Mrs. Rukayat and Farida Waziri and Chimamanda, among other women that can have the same what a man can do, that has proved it right. A woman can do better.
Yes.
So the society needs to get women involved in everything.
Okay, we would open the phone lines now, and the number to call is 070. Okay, the number to call is 09061126906. If you have any comments or suggestions or questions for our guest today, the number to call is 09061126906. And you can also tweet at us using the hashtag AskIsh. You can tweet at us with the hashtag AskIsh on Twitter. And I think we already have a question for you, Ish, from our Twitter. And Engineer Saif Frank wants to know, what are the challenges you face as a female entrepreneur? What are the challenges you face? And what advice would you give young girls aspiring to make it?
Some of the main challenge I face is lack of support. That's one big problem with our society. We don't support one another. We just there is no empowerment, so it kind of makes you feel down, okay, maybe I shouldn't do what I'm doing. But if you truly, and for the young aspiring young girls, if they want to do anything, if you have a dream, follow it. If you have passion or something, go ahead. Don't let anyone stop you. Just do it right. Follow your dream. Do it. Give it your all, and you should be fine.
Okay. Have you feel the challenges you face in Nigeria and while you worked in other countries, are they the same? What are the difference between these challenges? You said in our society we don't give support. Do you get the necessary support there, or are there other challenges that you face there too?
Here you get support, you get help and encouragement, but in our society, which is sad, is even the people that are closest to you that are the ones that don't really support you. Like, you'll be doing someone and no one cares, so it's just practically just you. But other places, they empower you, or what you're doing is great, or even if it's not great, they kind of give you advice, oh, you could do this a certain way, and which is good, it helps you grow.
Absolutely. So the number to call is 09061126906. Call in with your questions or your suggestions, comments for our guest today, Aisha Shiukeke, who is an entrepreneur, an IT specialist, a filmmaker, a chef, a baker, and so much more. We have a call. Hello?
Hello? Hello?
Hello, good morning. Oh, we lost that call. Please, if you are calling back, we would want you to go as far away from your radio set as possible. Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Hello, good morning. If you are calling us, we would want you to please stay as far away as your radio set as possible, or just turn it off until you ask your question or make your comment. We can't answer you when we can hear your voice echoing back to us. Okay, so you can tweet at us using the hashtag AskIsh on Twitter, and you can call us on 09061126906. 09061126906. Aisha, hello, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Okay, we have a call. Hello?
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, my name is Peter, I'm calling from Malawi.
Okay, Peter, go ahead.
I want to talk about this mortality that she talked about, and then about female children. You know, I have a neighbor. Understand? She gave birth about 3 or 4 months ago. So the baby, a newborn baby, was not feeling fine, and my dad told her to take this baby to the hospital, but her husband told her not to take the baby to the hospital. We tried as much as we can to take that baby to the hospital. That at long last, just last week, the baby died because the baby was not taken to the hospital, and the mother was just down like that.
Yeah.
So I felt pity for her, but I also blamed the husband for not taking the baby to the hospital. And then a female has the family at heart even more than a male child. Because my sister, she's presently in school, but even as she's in school there, when she comes back, she tries as much as she can to work. After working, she'll be done to also sponsor herself back to school. And even when there are issues at home, she also tries to send money. You understand?
Yeah.
So anybody that is preventing a female child from going to school doesn't know what he or she is doing. I'm telling you. So educating a female child is more or less, is even more important than teaching a male child. That's just my take this morning.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Pete. Thank you for that contribution. And I think it's something we did not even really look into, Aisha, the way certain parents give preference to or show love more to the male children over the female child, because she's female. He did not really mind about taking her to the hospital. We have another call. Hello?
Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hello? It is Tajuddin calling from Kwaspen Quarter.
Okay, Tajuddin, go ahead.
The issue of females not making it or not, do we have associations or organizations that will tend to help these girls from the onset? Majorly, I feel girls or the females are brought up in a way that they tend to depend solely on males for everything. They believe after school, I know girls that will tell you that immediately after school they are getting married, so they don't even need to go to school, they don't need a job, they don't need business, and you see some of them from the secondary school, you see they are so brilliant. When you go to the market, I can say 80% of people in the market are females, they are uneducated, and they don't, even if they have the money, because of that lack, they believe that their husbands will provide everything for them. Is there any say that we can, as let's say, as Aisha now, is there any association or a body that can tend to look into this from the secondary school, from the onset, and stop the idea of, like, letting you believe that my husband I'll get married and everything, my husband will take care of it. We have to break that barrier. And the issue of ladies not getting empowerment, I don't feel we need to give special preferences to ladies. Not that I think they are strong enough, they are willed enough to do anything they want to do. I know my mom didn't get any empowerment and she raised us as kids. I know women that their husbands are late and they still raise their kids without any financial backing from anybody. So the issue of it's just the mentality that they actually need empowerment. They need a guy, they need a man in their life. They need something from someone. But if they believe there is broken from the onset, that they can do all these things on their own, I feel it's going to be better that way.
Okay.
Hello?
Thank you very much, Tajuddin. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so Aisha, you heard Tajuddin. He said, is there any organization? I believe he's referring to part of your portfolio where you're a humanitarian. So he wants to know if there's any organization or group that tries to, help out women who have been deprived of that right or opportunity.
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Okay, Tajuddin made reference to a group or, an organization that tends to work in the favor of women, that helps women who have been deprived of their right to education or certain opportunities. And I believe it's because in your portfolio you're humanitarian. So he wants to know, is there anything you do that you help women?
Yeah, I just started Ish Foundation, and my goal is to support women in terms of entrepreneurship, and also teach a little class to the young children and orphans around the nation.
Okay, good. I hope Tajuddin heard that. So your foundation, the Ish Foundation, is out to help women and build them up with skills and educate them on their rights?
Yeah, maybe with women and children, and like in both women and children, their health and well-being, and also with their education.
Okay, good. And the number to call is 090-611-26906, 090-611-26906. Call in with your questions, your comments, or your suggestions on this topic. And we've been talking gender stereotype and the girl child in an African society. We have a call. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Roti from Mali.
Sorry, I didn't get your name. Oh. Funny enough, the topic is on the girl child, but we have so many male callers calling in. Apparently, things are beginning to change, hopefully. Hello? Please get away from your radio sets. We can't hear you if we hear back the echo of our voices coming back to us. The number is 090-611-26906. Hello, Aisha. Are you with us? I think we lost Aisha's. Okay. Hello?
Yeah, hello. Good afternoon. I'm Mr. Peter. I am Mr. Peter from Ganawa.
Okay, Mr. Peter.
Yes, I so much believe in female children. For example, now I have about 2 daughters, and they told me they want to.
Go ahead, Mr. Peter.
That
I can hear you.
Yes, that they want to go to the university. I was so much happy while one of my sons said, okay, Daddy, I will go to poly. So I believe in female children education, giving them the best that we can. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Peter. Thank you very much. And, we need so many people like you in the society today, people who believe the woman is, capable of doing so much, especially when it comes to education. Some people, or parents rather, feel like as a woman you shouldn't be an engineer, as a woman you shouldn't be a doctor, which is not right. Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Hello? Good morning.
This is Gosi calling from Malawi.
Okay. Go ahead.
I've been listening to the discussion, and I just want to add a comment. As a medical doctor, we usually see cases of females that are brought in great complications just because of ignorance, and this ignorance is usually because the females are not educated. We get ruptured uterus, infant mortality, like Aisha has said to me. I think this female education will go a long way in reducing female mother and infant mortality. And then we get cases of males that come with their wives, and then they insist that they want only a female doctor to examine their wife. When you ask them to send their own kids, the female kids to school, you get a negative response from them. I think hello?
Yes, I'm with you. I can hear you.
Hello?
Go ahead, please. I can hear you. Hello? Okay, I think we lost her, and she was making a very interesting point. She said especially the female doctors are very important in the society, because you see a certain complication and certain men will feel, no, a male doctor shouldn't touch my wife. I want a female doctor. So if we do not educate the girl child, how do we get those female doctors? Very true. Hello, Aisha?
Hello?
Okay, good. You're back with us now. Sorry about the phone lines. Okay, so you heard our callers. You heard what Tajuddin and Peter said, and you heard our last caller, Amina?
No, I missed her.
Okay, she was actually talking about female doctors and how important they are.
Yeah.
Yes, and the reference you made to infant mortality and, the education of the mother. Hello?
Hello?
Okay, I want to go back to something, Aisha, and I asked you, the role of media, in gender stereotyping, and we see, children tend to absorb so much, while growing up. They learn so many things from the TV, from the television, and we see women being cast in certain movies or cartoons, as, just the sweeper or just the cook, do you think these things, and we even see cases where in music videos, women are just portrayed as objects. Let me use that. Do you think that plays a role in, building a girl's attitude when she grows up?
I mean, I feel in media, like with music videos you mentioned, I feel everyone is their own individual self, so it shouldn't be generalized. Media has positive and negative aspects. So some people, there are different ways they show their own self, like they express their self, which I think started with all this the stereotyping that a woman is like being a woman, like you have to be submissive and be as an object of sex.
Yes,
so
that's the word. Being submissive. Being submissive.
Mix up.
It's as if we are taught to know that right from a very young age. You know,
yeah.
we accept being treated as objects.
Yes.
Mm.
So that needs to be. That's why women, the female education is really important, because it can end the gender pay, things like gender pay gap, all this female hello?
We can hear you.
Like there are a lot of women being raped and harassed because this is what we're shown to do. Like, oh, you have to do things to get a man's attention, or you have to be a certain way to be a woman. So, like, being just at home and cooking for the family, or you have to be submissive, and this kind of affects our well-being. And which with education, a woman will know her rights, what she can do and what she's not supposed to do. So educating women is really important, because once they're educated, a lot of all this thing will have to end, because a lot that don't have much knowledge about how to protect themselves as an individual, as being a woman. You don't have to be in a certain way. You can be modest and be
a mother and still have a career, right?
Yeah,
absolutely. Thank you, Aisha, for being on the program. It has been an interesting discussion, but we have to
be here. Thank you.
Have a nice day. Bye bye. And with that, we've come to the end of the program, The Talk. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned a lot from the discussion we had with Aisha. Join us on Monday for another edition of The Talk. I am Fauziyya Kabir Tukur. Thank you for being with us.